Hey, fellow tech enthusiasts! Brandon here, and today, we're embarking on a deep dive into the fascinating realm of network penetration testing. Whether you're a seasoned cybersecurity pro or just getting started, understanding the nuances of network security is a journey worth taking. So, grab your virtual detective hats, and let's jump right in. Network penetration testing, also known as ethical hacking, is like having an X-ray vision for your network's vulnerabilities. In today's interconnected world, where our devices talk to each other, securing these connections is paramount. It's not about waiting for trouble, it's about actively seeking and shoring up potential weaknesses. Why bother with network penetration testing, you ask? Well, think of it as the proactive health check for your digital ecosystem. It's the Sherlock Holmes of the tech world, sniffing out vulnerabilities before they turn into security disasters. But how does it work? Let's break it down. Network penetration testing unfolds in three crucial phases, each unraveling a layer of your network's security fabric. Think of them as chapters in an evolving cybersecurity saga. First on our journey, pre-connection attacks. This is the reconnaissance phase, the digital equivalent of scouting the terrain before the battle. Imagine identifying potential vulnerabilities even before establishing a connection. It's not just about finding the weak spots, it's about understanding the landscape to craft a strategic approach. For instance, consider an attacker gathering information about a target network using techniques like footprinting and scanning. They could be identifying open ports, assessing the network structure, and pinpointing potential entry points. It's a silent dance in the shadows before the main act begins. Next up, gaining attacks. This is where we explore the art of cracking Wi-Fi keys and gaining unauthorized access to networks. Whether it's WEP, WPA, or WPA2, the goal is to understand and counteract the vulnerabilities in wireless networks. Picture yourself at a local cafe, sipping coffee, connected to their Wi-Fi. An attacker could exploit weaknesses in the network's encryption, gaining access to your device or intercepting your online activities. Gaining attacks equip us with the skills to prevent such intrusions and safeguard our digital interactions. Finally, we reach the post-connection attacks. You've breached the castle walls, so to speak. This phase is about powerful attacks that allow you to intercept connections, capture sensitive information, and even manipulate data in transit. Imagine being in a position to observe and modify the information flowing through the network. It's not just eavesdropping. It's a strategic game where you have the power to alter the course of data. These attacks are versatile, applying to both Wi-Fi and wired networks. Now, you might wonder, why ethical hacking? Ethical hackers, also known as white hat hackers, leverage the same tools and techniques as their malicious counterparts but with a crucial distinction: permission. Their mission is to strengthen security and fortify systems against potential threats. Consider a scenario where an ethical hacker identifies and patches a vulnerability in a financial institution's system before a malicious actor can exploit it. Ethical hacking is about staying ahead of the game, ensuring that the defenders are always one step ahead. Defining a network. Let's start with the basics. A network is like a digital community, a connection of two or more devices, working together to share information and resources. This connection can be physical, like Ethernet cables, or wireless, through technologies like Wi-Fi. In this community, you'll find various devices, such as computers, servers, and routers. The router, in particular, is like the gateway to the internet, the bridge connecting your devices to the vast online world. Connecting to the internet. Now, let's paint a picture. Imagine your device, be it a computer or a smartphone, connected to this network. You decide to open your browser and type in google.com. What happens behind the scenes is a fascinating journey. Your computer sends a request to the router, asking it to fetch the content from the internet. The router, being the gateway to the internet, retrieves the data from google.com and sends it back to your computer. It's this seamless process that allows you to see the website on your screen using a web browser. Now, let's talk about communication in networks. In the world of networking, communication between devices happens through something called packets. Whether you're streaming a video, logging into a website, sending chat messages, or composing an email, it's all about sending and receiving these data packets. Each packet is like a digital postcard, containing information that needs to reach its destination. Now, how do these parcels reach their destination? In the intricate dance of networking, devices ensure that these packets travel in the right direction using MAC addresses. Every device on a network has a unique MAC address, like a digital fingerprint. Each packet carries the source MAC address, where it's from, and the destination MAC address, where it's going. Imagine you're sending a picture to a friend. The packet containing that image flows from the source MAC, your device, to the destination MAC, your friend's device. It's like a virtual postal service making sure your digital parcels reach the right doorstep. Let's visualize this. Picture a network with various devices, laptops, smartphones, and maybe a smart fridge. When you send an email, for instance, the email is broken down into packets. Each packet is tagged with the MAC addresses, ensuring it takes the right path to reach its destination. Why does this matter in ethical hacking? Now, you might be wondering, why are we spending time on these networking basics in an ethical hacking series? Well, imagine ethical hacking as navigating through the intricate streets of a city. To navigate efficiently, you need to understand the roads, intersections, and how different areas connect. Similarly, in ethical hacking, knowing how data flows, communicates, and interacts in a network is fundamental. Understanding these foundational concepts is crucial for anyone diving into the world of ethical hacking. It's like learning the alphabet before constructing words and sentences. As we wrap up this deep dive into networking fundamentals, remember, these principles lay the groundwork for more advanced topics in ethical hacking. Stay tuned for in-depth explorations into how this knowledge translates into securing networks, identifying vulnerabilities, and defending against potential threats. Understanding pre-connection attacks, the digital spy mission. Before we delve into the technicalities, let's grasp the concept of pre-connection attacks. Think of it as the spy mission before the cybersecurity battle commences. During this phase, our objective is not merely to scan networks, it's to gather critical intelligence about every connected device. This opens the door to selectively disconnecting devices without the need for passwords. It's like having a digital master key to a secured fortress. Unveiling the magic, in-depth exploration of basic steps. Step 1. Wireless interface in monitor mode. Imagine granting your wireless device a superpower, monitor mode. In this initial step, we're not just transforming our device, we're giving it a cloak of invisibility. Monitor mode allows our device to observe the airwaves without actively participating in any network. It's the first stride in our digital reconnaissance, akin to giving our device a set of digital binoculars. Step 2. About error-dumping. Now, let's introduce error-dumping, a formidable tool in our cybersecurity arsenal. Consider it our radar system, diligently scanning the digital skies and compiling a comprehensive list of all networks. But error-dumping is not content with just listing networks, it goes beyond, providing invaluable information about each network. It's like turning our radar into a powerful telescope, revealing the intricacies of the digital landscape. Step 3. Run error-dumping, unleashing the power of X-ray vision. This is the heart of our operation. With error-dumping unleashed, a wealth of information about networks and connected devices materializes before us. It's like being bestowed with X-ray vision for the digital realm. We're not just collecting data, we're gaining insights into the connections, the patterns, and the vulnerabilities. This step is about understanding the digital pulse of the environment. Step 4. Deauthenticate the wireless client, the puppet master's strings. Here comes the pinnacle of our prowess. Armed with the knowledge from the previous steps, we can selectively disconnect any device using airplaying. It's akin to having the ability to flip a switch, severing a device's connection without the need for its password. This is the digital equivalent of cutting the puppet's strings, and in this scenario, we hold the strings. It's not just about disconnecting, it's about asserting control over the digital narrative. Illustrating a pre-connection attack, painting a vivid scenario. Let's bring this power to life with a scenario. Imagine yourself in a bustling coffee shop, innocently sipping your latte. Unbeknownst to others, your device has undergone a transformation into a digital detective. With a few keystrokes, you can discreetly observe all the devices connected to the coffee shop's Wi-Fi. But it doesn't end there. You can selectively disconnect a specific device, all from the shadows. It's not just about passive observation, it's about active control, understanding the dynamics, and having the power to influence them. The ethics of pre-connection attacks, navigating the digital moral compass. Before we delve deeper, let's address the ethical considerations. The power to disconnect devices brings significant responsibility. These skills should only be employed in controlled environments and with proper authorization. Ethical hacking is not about causing disruption, it's about fortifying security. It's about being the digital guardian, not the digital marauder. This step is about understanding the moral compass in the digital realm. Conclusion: the digital detective unleashed, the journey continues. As we wrap up this exploration of pre-connection attacks, let's remember that with great power comes great responsibility. Step 1. Switch the wireless interface to monitor mode. By default, our wireless devices operate in managed mode. In this mode, our device captures packets only if they are destined for its MAC address. It's like having a radio tuned to a specific station. But what if we want to capture all packets within our range, regardless of the destination MAC address or without knowing the target device's password? This is where monitor mode comes into play, turning our device into a versatile listener that can capture every packet in its vicinity. Before we embark on this transformation, let's see the current state of our wireless interface. In the command uconfig, you can observe that the mode of the wireless interface LAN 0 is currently set to managed mode. Our first move is to disable managed mode using ifconfig LAN 0 down command, and then we run airmaning check kill to terminate any processes that might interfere with our interface in monitor mode. Be prepared, your internet connection will be temporarily lost after this step. The command uconfig LAN 0 mode monitor is our ticket to enabling monitor mode on the LAN 0 interface. It's like giving our device a new set of ears to listen to a broader spectrum of packets. After these transformations, we need to bring our interface back up with ifconfig LAN 0 up command. It's like activating the newly acquired capabilities. To ensure that our wireless interface is indeed in monitor mode, we run the command uconfig, which should reflect the updated mode as monitor. Step 2. Play with ping. Now that our wireless interface is in monitor mode, let's delve into the enchanting world of Wi-Fi packets using the powerful tool, ping. This program acts as our digital Sherlock Holmes, a packet sniffer designed to unveil the essence of the Wi-Fi world around us. Think of it as a virtual radar system, scanning and extracting valuable information from networks within our range, empowering us in our ethical hacking endeavors. ping is more than just a tool, it's our key to decrypting the digital landscape of Wi-Fi. It provides a digital map of the Wi-Fi realm, complete with details that guide us in making informed decisions. To initiate ping, simply run ping LAN 0. Remember, you can press Ctrl+C to halt the execution when needed. The output of ping unveils a wealth of information about Wi-Fi networks within our range. BSSID, the digital fingerprint of a network, a unique identifier represented by its MAC address. PWR indicates signal strength, a higher number suggests a more robust signal. Beacons, networks broadcast their existence through beacons, captured by ping. Hashtag data represents the number of data packets or frames being transmitted within the network. #/s displays the rate at which data packets are collected in the past 10 seconds. ch provides insights into the specific channel each network operates on. ENC reveals the encryption type used by the network. Cipher highlights the specific cipher employed by the network for encoding and decoding. Auth showcases the network's authentication method. ESID, the network's identity, allowing easy distinction. In the visual representation, ping showcases a myriad of wireless networks with detailed information. ping isn't limited to networks, it's a potent tool for identifying devices connected to these networks. It's like having a digital census of both networks and their inhabitants. Step 3. Focusing on a specific network. In our previous encounter with ping, we cast a wide net, scanning the Wi-Fi landscape around us. Now, let's hone in on a specific network. It's time to fine-tune our reconnaissance and gather more detailed information about the devices connected to our target network. To accomplish this, we'll utilize the same trusty program with a modified command. ping BSSID, write the MAC address of target network here. Channel, write the channel on which ping will be sniffing. Write test. This is an optional parameter, allows us to store all collected data in a file named test. LAN0 represents the interface name. Executing this command with the specified parameters unveils a treasure trove of information about the devices connected to the network. Let's decode the output. BSSID, the MAC address of the access point for this network. Station shows the number of devices connected to the network. PWR indicates the power strength of each connected device. Rate displays the speed of data transmission. Lost reveals the amount of data loss during transmission. Frames illustrates the total number of frames captured. In our case, command exposes devices connected to the network sharing the same BSSID. Final step, perform deauthentication attack. Deauthentication attacks, also known as DOth attacks, stand as a formidable weapon in our ethical hacking toolkit. These attacks empower us to disconnect any device from a network within our range, regardless of encryption or security measures. In a deauthentication attack, we assume dual roles, playing both the client and the router. The process unfolds in 2 steps. Client impersonation, we change our MAC address to that of the client, sending a deauthentication packet to the router, signaling our intent to disconnect. Router impersonation, simultaneously, we change our MAC address to that of the router, conveying to the client that we wish to sever the connection. This orchestrated dance results in the targeted client losing its connection to the network. Our chosen tool for this mission is the formidable airplaying. Let's walk through the process step by step. Begin by running ping on the target network to identify connected clients or devices. Now, armed with knowledge of connected devices, proceed to execute the deauthentication attack using airplaying. Here's the command breakdown. Airplaying DOth instructs airplaying to run a deauthentication attack. 100,000 specifies the number of deauthentication packets to be sent. A. Write the MAC address of the target access point or router. C. Specifies the MAC address of the client we intend to disconnect. LAN0 represents the wireless adapter. Upon executing this command, the targeted device experiences a loss of internet connection. Reconnection is only possible when we halt the command execution by pressing Ctrl+C. Conclusion. As ethical hackers, wielding such powerful tools comes with great responsibility. Understanding these techniques empowers us to bolster network security and defend against potential threats. Now, let's take the next leap into gaining access attacks. This phase is where things get truly interesting, as it allows us to establish a connection with the target network, opening the door to more advanced attacks and precise information gathering. So let's get started. Understanding gaining access attacks, a deeper dive. Gaining access is the crucial second step in our penetration testing journey. Think of it as getting your foot in the door of the target network. However, ethical considerations are paramount. Always obtain explicit permission before attempting any penetration testing on a network. Now, if a network doesn't use encryption, gaining access is pretty straightforward. We can just connect to it and sniff out unencrypted data. For wired networks, we can use a cable, and maybe even change our MAC address for added stealth. But, what if the target network uses encryption like WEP, WPA, and WPA2? That's where things get interesting. But don't worry, I'm here to explain to you every step of this amazing journey. Real-world example, bridging theory and practice. Imagine yourself at a bustling coffee shop, laptop in tow, ready to dive into some work. As you sip your coffee, you notice a myriad of Wi-Fi networks available around you, and the list goes on. Now, let's put on our ethical hacker hats. Our mission: gain access to one of these networks. But here's the catch: many of these networks are secured with encryption and fortified with security measures. So, how do we navigate this digital labyrinth? The encryption conundrum: navigating ethically through security measures. Now, as we venture into the encryption conundrum, it's imperative to approach this phase with the utmost ethical considerations. These encryption methods, such as WEP, WPA, and WPA2, act as the guardians of digital fortresses. Decrypting these networks is a complex process, and understanding them is crucial, but the ethical application of this knowledge is paramount. Before we proceed, let's reinforce the ethical framework governing our exploration. The primary purpose of comprehending these security measures is to fortify networks against potential threats. It's not an endorsement of unauthorized access or malicious activities. Always ensure that you have explicit authorization before attempting any penetration testing on a network. What's on our learning odyssey? Our odyssey through gaining access attacks will be a journey grounded in ethical principles and responsible use of knowledge. WEP Introduction: delve into the vulnerabilities of wired equivalent privacy, WEP, understanding its weaknesses to advocate for stronger encryption standards. WEP Practical: explore fundamental techniques for understanding and mitigating the risks associated with WEP, promoting the use of more secure alternatives. Fake authentication attack: learn about strategic fake authentication attacks, crucial for ethical penetration testing within legal boundaries, emphasizing the importance of obtaining explicit permission. ARP Request Replay: delve into the intricacies of ARP request replay attacks, highlighting the ethical necessity of obtaining proper authorization before attempting such maneuvers. WPA Theory: shift our focus to Wi-Fi protected access, WPA, unraveling its theoretical underpinnings with the aim of promoting awareness about secure encryption practices. Handshake Theory: thoroughly explore the handshake, a critical aspect of gaining access to WPA encrypted networks, always with the intention of ethical use within authorized environments. Capturing handshakes: equip ourselves with the tools and techniques to capture handshakes responsibly, emphasizing their use for educational and ethical purposes in penetration testing. Creating word lists: embark on word list exploration as a means to enhance our knowledge and preparedness for ethical hacking scenarios, always adhering to legal and responsible use. Word list exploring: use word list exploration techniques to understand password vulnerabilities and promote the importance of strong, secure passwords without engaging in unauthorized access attempts. Securing networks from attacks: conclude our exploration with insights into securing networks against potential attacks, highlighting the ethical responsibility that comes with ethical hacking and advocating for proactive cybersecurity measures. Conclusion. And there you have it, folks. Gaining access is a critical step in network penetration testing, and understanding these techniques is vital for both offense and defense. Remember, ethical hacking is about using your knowledge for positive purposes, enhancing cybersecurity, and staying within legal and ethical boundaries. Introduction to WEP. Wired equivalent privacy stands as a historical testament to the early attempts at securing wireless networks. Introduced as an encryption protocol, it played a pivotal role in the evolution of wireless communication. It operates on the RC4 encryption algorithm, a stream cipher celebrated for its simplicity. It is aimed to fortify the confidentiality of data transmitted between routers and clients. While WEP's adoption marked a significant stride in wireless security, its vulnerabilities have become apparent over time. As we delve into the annals of encryption history, it's essential to understand the strengths and weaknesses that WEP brought to the forefront of wireless networking. Encryption process. Picture this intricate ballet of data security. The router, like a diligent guardian, adorns each outgoing packet with a cloak of encryption, a digital veil that conceals the contents within. This cryptographic transformation, executed through the RC4 encryption algorithm, is the router's way of safeguarding sensitive information from the prying eyes of potential eavesdroppers. As these encrypted packets pirouette through the airwaves, they carry within them a secret that only the designated client can unveil. Armed with the shared decryption key, the client gracefully catches each packet and performs a mesmerizing reverse dance. In this delicate choreography, the once encoded data is revealed in its original form, accessible and intelligible only to those with the key, a secret handshake in the digital realm. Yet, in this mesmerizing dance of secrecy, vulnerabilities can emerge as missteps in the choreography. The RC4 encryption algorithm, once celebrated for its simplicity, has shown signs of wear over time. Cracks in the cryptographic dance floor have been discovered, creating potential entry points for those with malicious intent. As we unravel the nuances of this encryption tango, we'll delve into the vulnerabilities that have surfaced, prompting the evolution of wireless security beyond the age of WEP. Unique key stream and initialization vector. Enter the secret sauce of WEP's encryption magic, the initialization vector. Think of it as a unique identifier, a 24-bit random number that adds an alluring twist to the cryptographic dance. This seemingly random sequence injects variability into the encryption process, ensuring that each packet's keystream takes on a distinctive form, akin to a snowflake in a digital blizzard. In essence, the IV contributes to the complexity of the encryption, making it challenging for potential eavesdroppers to predict the keystream's pattern. This element of unpredictability is crucial in fortifying the security of WEP encrypted communications. The dynamic nature of the IV enriches the cryptographic landscape, making it a vital component in the quest for secure wireless communication. However, even in this dance of encryption prowess, a gap in WEP's armor appears. IV, although essential to its cryptographic function, is paradoxically exposed. Each packet, wrapped in a cloak of encryption, carries its own unique IV in clear plain text. It's an interesting paradox where a factor designed to enhance security becomes a threat when exposed to all. Vulnerabilities and statistical attacks. Now, let's unveil the Achilles heel that haunts WEP's encrypted dance floor, the limited 24-bit initialization vector. Picture a bustling network, a digital metropolis filled with data traffic, where the IVs, though intended to be unique snowflakes, find themselves caught in the whirlwind of repetition. In the midst of high-traffic scenarios, the confined space of 24 bits becomes a crowded realm, leading to an inevitable occurrence, the repetition of IVs. This seemingly innocuous repetition transforms into a vulnerability, akin to a repeated note in a symphony, creating a pattern that keen observers can exploit. Herein lies the gateway to statistical attacks. Imagine an adept attacker, armed with the right tools and a keen analytical eye, observing the network's ballet of repeated IVs. Like a code-breaking maestro, the attacker discerns patterns within the seemingly chaotic dance. These discernible patterns become the breadcrumbs leading to the coveted encryption key, unraveling the once secure cloak that WEP draped over its data. In this digital cat-and-mouse game, the limitations of the 24-bit IV expose WEP to a sophisticated form of attack. Exploring network security with aircracking. Aircracking play a crucial role in identifying and addressing vulnerabilities within wireless networks. Aircracking, often hailed as a valuable asset in the ethical hacker's toolkit, acts as a digital investigator, carefully examining the weaknesses present in WEP's cryptographic framework. In the realm of ethical cybersecurity practices, aircracking focuses on understanding the intricacies of initialization vectors to enhance network security. Instead of exploiting vulnerabilities, the tool collects data on repeated IVs as a part of a comprehensive analysis, mirroring the meticulous work of a detective solving a complex case. Aircracking utilizes its analytical capabilities to interpret patterns within the seemingly chaotic IVs, with the ultimate goal of strengthening network security. By highlighting the vulnerabilities of WEP, the intention is not to compromise security but to emphasize the importance of securing networks against potential threats. This process serves as a reminder of the ongoing effort to enhance digital security. As ethical hackers uncover weaknesses in outdated systems, the emphasis shifts towards reinforcing networks against potential breaches. The evolution to more robust encryption methods, such as WPA and WPA2, reflects the continuous commitment to learning from past vulnerabilities and creating resilient defenses against unauthorized access. Closing thoughts. As we wrap up this exploration into WEP's vulnerabilities, I encourage you to hit the like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts. Unraveling the mysteries of WEP cracking. A digital puzzle. Before we plunge into the technical details, let's demystify WEP cracking. WEP, or Wired Equivalent Privacy, was once a widely used security protocol for wireless networks. However, its vulnerabilities have made it a prime target for attackers. WEP cracking involves exploiting these weaknesses to decipher the encryption key used to secure a wireless network. It's like solving a digital puzzle, where each piece of information brings us closer to unraveling the key. The anatomy of WEP cracking. Breaking down the process. To crack WEP, we follow a systematic approach that involves capturing packets, analyzing data, and leveraging specialized tools like AirCrack-NG. Let's break down the process into digestible chunks. Step 1. Packet capture. Building our data arsenal. Our journey begins with capturing packets, the building blocks of our WEP cracking endeavor. We need numerous packets containing unique initialization vectors to increase our chances of success. Think of IVs as the breadcrumbs we need to follow the digital trail leading to the WEP key. The more IVs we gather, the stronger our position becomes. Step 2. Deploying AirCrack-NG. Unleashing statistical sorcery. Once armed with a trove of IV-laden packets, we turn to a powerful tool in our arsenal, AirCrack-NG. This Swiss Army knife of wireless security employs statistical attacks to decipher the key stream and unveil the elusive WEP key. It's like wielding a digital wand that magically transforms raw data into actionable insights. But remember, AirCrack-NG works best when we have a substantial number of packets at our disposal. A practical demonstration. From theory to reality. Now that we've laid the groundwork, let's witness WEP cracking into action with a practical demonstration. Imagine ourselves in a bustling digital landscape, surrounded by Wi-Fi networks vying for our attention. Our target, the enigmatic TechSky network. Here's how we proceed. Step 1. AeroDump-NG. Surveying the digital terrain. Before we embark on our WEP cracking expedition, we must first switch our wireless interface to monitor mode. As I've covered in a previous video, this essential step allows us to passively capture packets from nearby networks without associating with any specific access point. Then we begin by deploying AeroDump-NG to survey the Wi-Fi landscape and identify our target network. We unleash a digital reconnaissance with a few keystrokes, scanning for networks within our Wi-Fi range. The output reveals the TechSky network, beckoning us to delve deeper into its secrets. Step 2. Capturing packets. Building our data repository. With our target identified, we set AeroDump-NG to capture packets from the TechSky network. Each captured packet brings us closer to our goal, like pieces of a puzzle waiting to be assembled. We monitor the data flow, eagerly awaiting the critical mass of IVs that will unlock the door to the WEP key. Step 3. AirCrack-NG. Cracking the code. Armed with a wealth of captured packets, we unleash AirCrack-NG to work its statistical sorcery. With bated breath, we watch as AirCrack-NG analyzes the data, probing for vulnerabilities and exploiting weaknesses in the WEP encryption. It's a digital showdown between attacker and defender, with the WEP key hanging in the balance. The moment of triumph decrypting the WEP key. After patiently waiting, AirCrack-NG delivers the ultimate prize, the decrypted WEP key. With a triumphant keystroke, we seize control of the TechSky network, armed with the knowledge to connect seamlessly. Whether using the password or the hexadecimal key, victory is ours. Conclusion. The power of knowledge in the digital realm. As we conclude our journey into WEP cracking, let's reflect on the power of knowledge in the digital realm. With the right tools and techniques, we can navigate the complexities of wireless security and emerge victorious. In our last session, we uncovered the vulnerabilities of WEP encryption on busy networks. Today, we're venturing into a scenario where the network is quiet and data traffic is scarce. Join me as we explore the intricate strategy of executing a fake authentication attack to crack the WEP key, even in such conditions. Step 1. Switching to monitor mode. Before we embark on our attack, let's ensure our wireless interface is properly configured. We'll start by examining our interface mode using the command iwconfig. This command provides essential information about our wireless interface, including its mode. In our case, we'll find that our interface is currently set to managed mode, which is not conducive to our attack. To proceed, we need to switch our interface to monitor mode, which allows us to passively listen to all wireless traffic within range. But before we do that, we need to obtain the MAC address of our wireless device, which will be used later in the attack. We can retrieve this information by executing ifconfig WLAN0, where WLAN0 is the name of our wireless interface. Now armed with our MAC address, we'll initiate the transition to monitor mode. This involves bringing down our wireless interface with ifconfig WLAN0 down, ensuring there are no conflicts with other processes using airman ng check kill, and finally switching the interface to monitor mode with ibuconfig WLAN0 mode monitor. Once completed, we'll bring our interface back up with ifconfig WLAN0 up. With our interface successfully switched to monitor mode, we're now ready to proceed to the next step. Step 2. Targeting TechSky. With our interface configured correctly, let's identify our target, the TechSky access point. We'll utilize the arrowdump ng tool to list all nearby wireless networks and their associated clients. Running arrowdump ng WLAN0 provides us with a comprehensive overview of the wireless landscape around us. Once we've identified the TechSky network, we'll focus our attention on it by filtering the results using its BSSID, which is the MAC address, and the channel, which is the channel number. This ensures that we're specifically targeting the TechSky network for our attack. Now execute command arrowdump ng BSSID. Here write the MAC address of your access point, and channel, write the channel number here, then WLAN0, which allows us to narrow down our focus to the TechSky network operating on channel 6. Upon inspection, we may notice that there are no clients currently connected to the TechSky network, and the data traffic is minimal. This presents a challenge for us, as the lack of data packets makes it difficult to crack the WEP using traditional methods. Injecting packets for traffic generation. To overcome this obstacle, we need to inject packets into the network to stimulate traffic. By doing so, we can force the access point to generate new packets containing initialization vectors, which are essential for WEP key cracking. However, before we can inject packets, we must first authenticate our device with the access point. Step 3. Executing fake authentication. To initiate the fake authentication attack, we'll start by setting our wireless interface to the appropriate channel using the command airman ng start WLAN06. This ensures that our interface is synchronized with the TechSky network's channel, facilitating communication between our device and the access point. Next, we'll execute the fake authentication attack using airplay ng fakeauth 0. A. Here MAC address of our access point, H, and here is the MAC address of our device, E, which is the name of our access point, WLAN0. Let's break down this command. Fakeauth 0 specifies the type of attack, fake authentication, and the number of packets to send. In this case, 0 indicates that we want to perform the attack once. A. MAC specifies the MAC address of the target access point TechSky. H. MAC specifies the MAC address of our wireless device, obtained earlier. ESSID specifies the network name of the target network TechSky. WLAN0 specifies the name of our wireless interface in monitor mode. Upon execution, this command initiates the fake authentication process between our device and the TechSky access point. The access point will recognize our device as a legitimate client, despite not being actually connected to the network. This authentication association enables us to inject packets into the access point, bypassing the requirement for an actual connection. Results of fake authentication. Following successful fake authentication, we'll observe a change in the authentication status auth field in the arrowdump ng output. The absence of a value in the auth field prior to the attack indicates that no authentication was established. However, after executing the fake authentication attack, we should see an OPN value in the auth field, indicating a successful authentication association. With this association established, we now have the capability to inject packets into the TechSky network, even though we're not physically connected to it. This opens up opportunities for further exploitation and web key cracking, despite the initially sparse data traffic. By executing a fake authentication attack, we've demonstrated the strategic approach required to crack a WEP key in scenarios with minimal data traffic. In our next video, we'll delve even deeper into packet injection techniques and explore advanced strategies for network exploitation. As we navigate the intricacies of ethical hacking, let this journey be a testament to the fact that security is not merely a destination but an ongoing pursuit. The vulnerabilities unearthed in protocols like WEP serve as valuable lessons, propelling us toward innovation and the development of more resilient defenses. In this evolving digital frontier, knowledge isn't just power, it's the very key that unlocks the doors to a secure future. Step 1. Switch the wireless interface to monitor mode. I've explained this step in many of my previous videos. If you're already familiar with it, feel free to skip ahead to the next step. For those new to this, let's go through it in detail. First, we need to switch our wireless interface to monitor mode. Monitor mode allows us to capture all wireless traffic in our vicinity, making it crucial for our RP replay attack. Let's begin by checking the current mode of our wireless interface. Open your terminal and run the command iwconfig. This command displays the current configuration of your wireless interfaces. You'll likely see that your wireless interface is set to managed mode, which is the default mode for regular Wi-Fi use. Before switching to monitor mode, we need to get the MAC address of our wireless interface. Run the command ifconfig wlan 0. Here, wlan 0 is the name of our wireless interface. This command will display detailed information about the interface, including the MAC address. Note down this address, as we'll need it later in our process. Now, let's switch our interface to monitor mode. Start by bringing the interface down, ifconfig wlan 0 down. This command disables the wireless interface, preparing it for the mode switch. Next, we need to terminate any processes that might interfere with the switch. Use the command erman ng check kill. This command ensures that no other processes are using the wireless interface. At this point, your Wi-Fi connection will be temporarily disconnected. Next, switch the wireless interface to monitor mode by running iwconfig wlan 0 mode monitor. This command changes the mode of the interface from managed to monitor. To bring the interface back up and enable monitor mode, run ifconfig wlan 0 up. Now, verify the mode change by running iwconfig again. You should now see that the wireless interface is set to monitor mode. Great. We've successfully switched our wireless interface to monitor mode. This setup allows us to capture and analyze wireless traffic, setting the stage for our RP replay attack. Step 2. Perform a fake authentication attack. In the last step, we successfully switched our wireless interface to monitor mode. Now, we need to perform a fake authentication attack to associate our device with the target network. If you're familiar with this process from our previous video, feel free to skip ahead to step 3. For those who need a refresher, let's dive in. First, we need to identify our target network. We'll start by scanning for nearby Wi-Fi networks. Open your terminal and run arrowdump ng wlan 0. This command will display all the Wi-Fi networks in your vicinity, along with their details, including the BSS ID and the channel number. Look for our target network, TechSky, which is a WEP encrypted network. Once you've identified the target network, note down its BSS ID and channel number. We need these details to focus our attack on this specific network. Next, we'll refine our scan to target only TechSky. Run the following command arrowdump ng BSS ID. Write the MAC address of the target network here. Channel. Write the channel number here on which the target network operates. Write saves the captured data into a file named RP replay for later use. WLAN 0 indicates the name of our wireless interface in monitor mode. Press Enter to execute the command. You'll see that currently, there are no devices connected to the TechSky network. This is because we haven't performed the fake authentication attack yet. Now, let's perform the fake authentication attack. This attack will make the access point believe that our device is a legitimate client, allowing us to inject packets. Run the following command, airplay ngFacoth 6000, which specifies the fake authentication attack with a reassociation delay of 6,000 seconds. 01 indicates the number of authentication requests to send, in this case 1. A, which specifies the MAC address of the target network. H, specifies the MAC address of our wireless interface. WLAN 0 indicates the name of our wireless interface in monitor mode. Press Enter to execute the command. The terminal will show that the fake authentication attack is in progress. Once it's successful, our device will be authenticated with the network. Now, switch back to the terminal, where we are running aerodump ng. You should see that the auth column now shows OPN, indicating an open authentication, and our device appears as a connected client on the network. Great job! We've successfully performed a fake authentication attack. This sets the stage for our next step, the RP replay attack. Stay tuned as we dive into step 3, where we will generate and capture RP requests to crack the WEP key. Step 3. Perform an RP replay attack. In the previous steps, we switched our wireless interface to monitor mode and performed a fake authentication attack. Now it's time to perform the RP replay attack. This is the exciting part where we'll generate and capture RP packets to eventually crack the WEP key. To begin the RP replay attack, open your terminal and run the following command, airplay ng rpreplay, which specifies the RP replay attack mode. B, which indicates the MAC address of the target network. H, specifies the MAC address of your wireless interface. WLAN 0 refers to the name of your wireless interface in monitor mode. You'll notice that it begins to capture and replay RP packets. This process is crucial because it generates a high volume of traffic, which helps in collecting the necessary initialization vectors required to crack the WEP key. However, this process can take some time, as it depends on the amount of traffic generated and captured. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to terminate this process prematurely due to time constraints. But in a real scenario, you should let it run to collect as many packets as possible, especially RP packets, to ensure the success of the attack. Once you've collected enough packets, we can proceed to crack the WEP key. Open the file manager and navigate to the directory where your capture file is saved. Confirm the name of your capture file. In this example, the file name is rpreplay-01.cap. Now, let's use aircrack-ng to decrypt the packets and retrieve the WEP key. Run the following command, aircrack-ng rpreplay-01.cap. Aircrack-ng will start processing the captured packets. It attempts to decrypt the packets to extract the WEP key. However, because I didn't collect enough packets in the previous step, the process is likely to fail. As you can see, aircrack-ng displays a message indicating that it needs at least 5,000 IVs to succeed. This means you need to be patient and let the RP replay attack run longer to gather the required amount of data. Remember, this video is a demonstration of the process. In practice, you should allow enough time to collect sufficient packets to ensure a successful attack. How to protect your Wi-Fi network from potential attacks. We understand the importance of safeguarding your personal and professional data from unauthorized access, and that's why this video is essential for anyone using a wireless network. Before we get into the details of how to secure your Wi-Fi, it's crucial to understand how attackers might gain access to your network. This knowledge will help you implement the right measures to protect your network effectively. It's worth noting that the technique discussed here should only be practiced in a controlled environment, such as your own lab network, and not on any unauthorized network. Our goal is to educate you on potential security risks and how to mitigate them, not to promote illegal activities. But before we jump into the practical steps, it's crucial to understand the theory behind it. Remember, this video is for educational purposes only. Please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends to spread awareness about Wi-Fi security. Let's get started. What is WPA? Wi-Fi Protected Access, or WPA, was developed to address the security vulnerabilities found in WEP encryption. WEP, or Wired Equivalent Privacy, had a major flaw: the short initialization vector, which was sent in plain text within each packet. This short IV made it possible for attackers to exhaust the unique IVs quickly, especially in a busy network. Once exhausted, attackers could capture packets with repeated IVs and use statistical attacks to crack the WEP key. However, WPA was designed to overcome these issues. In WPA, each packet is encrypted with a unique, temporary key, which means that no matter how many packets we capture, they will not provide the same kind of information that could help in cracking the encryption key. This significant improvement made WPA a much stronger and more secure protocol compared to WEP. How does WPA work? Each packet in WPA is encrypted with a unique, temporary key, unlike WEP, where IVs are reused. Even if we capture 1,000,000 packets, each will have a different IV, rendering them useless for traditional statistical attacks. WPA2, the successor to WPA, operates on the same principles but uses a more advanced encryption algorithm called CCMP, which stands for Counter Mode Cipher Blockchaining Message Authentication Code Protocol. Understanding the handshake. The key to cracking WPA encryption lies in capturing the handshake packets. When a device connects to a WPA-protected network, a process called the four-way handshake occurs. During this handshake, 4 packets are exchanged between the device and the access point to authenticate the connection. These handshake packets contain the necessary information to potentially crack the WPA key. Here's a simplified breakdown of the four-way handshake. Authentication request. The device sends an authentication request to the AP. Challenge from AP. The AP responds with a challenge. Device response. The device sends a response, proving it knows the WPA key. Final authentication. The AP confirms the device's response and allows the connection. By capturing these handshake packets, we can use a word list in conjunction with tools like AirCrack-NG to test each password in the word list against the handshake data. This process involves checking each password to see if it can successfully decrypt the handshake packets, ultimately revealing the WPA key. What do we need to crack WPA? To crack a WPA encrypted network, we need 2 main things. Captured handshake. This is the 4-packet sequence exchanged when a device connects to the network. Word list. A comprehensive list of potential passwords that we can test against the captured handshake. Now that we've covered the theoretical part of WPA encryption, it's time to dive into the practical steps. First of all, I will guide you through switching your wireless interface to monitor mode, an essential step in capturing the handshake packets. If you're familiar with this process from our previous videos, feel free to skip ahead. For everyone else, let's get started. First, open your terminal. To perform the necessary actions, you need root access. Enter the command sudo su. This command grants you superuser privileges, allowing you to execute commands with administrative rights. Next, let's check the current mode of your wireless interface. Run the following command, iwconfig. This command displays your wireless interface settings. You'll see that your wireless interface, usually named WLAN0, is currently in managed mode. Before switching modes, you need to bring down the wireless interface. Execute the command, ifconfig WLAN0 down. This command temporarily disables your wireless interface, preparing it for mode change. To ensure a smooth transition, you must kill any processes that might interfere with the mode switch. Run the command, ng check kill. This command terminates any conflicting processes that could cause issues while setting the monitor mode. Now let's switch the wireless interface to monitor mode. Execute the command, iwconfig WLAN0 mode monitor. This command changes the mode of your wireless interface from managed to monitor. In monitor mode, your wireless interface can capture all packets in the network, not just those addressed to it. After switching modes, you need to bring the wireless interface back up. Run the command, ifconfig WLAN0 up. This command re-enables your wireless interface, now operating in monitor mode. Finally, let's verify that the mode change was successful. Run the command again, iwconfig. You should see that your wireless interface, WLAN 0, is now in monitor mode. Congratulations! You've successfully switched your wireless interface to monitor mode. Now that we've switched our wireless interface to monitor mode, it's time to capture the WPA handshake. This step is crucial for cracking the WPA key. In this section, we'll use AeroDump NG and AirPlay NG to capture the handshake packets from a target network. First, let's capture all the networks around us using AeroDump NG. Open your terminal and enter the following command, AeroDump NG WLAN 0. This command will display a list of all the wireless networks within range, along with their respective details such as BSS ID, channel and encryption type. Identify your target network from this list. In our example, the target network is TechSky. Now, we'll focus on capturing the handshake packets from the target network. To do this, run the following command, AeroDump NG BSS ID, write the MAC address of the target network. Channel, write the channel number here. Write WPA_handshake, which is the name of our captured packets file. WLAN 0, which is the name of our wireless interface. Once you run this command, AeroDump NG will start capturing packets from the target network, displaying both the network details and any connected clients. To capture the handshake, we have two options. Passive capture. Simply wait for a device to connect to the network. When a device connects, the handshake packets will be transmitted, and AeroDump NG will capture them. Active capture via deauthentication attack. Force a connected device to disconnect and reconnect, thereby triggering the handshake. This method is faster and more reliable. Let's explore this method in detail. To perform a deauthentication attack, we'll use AirPlay NG. This attack will momentarily disconnect a device from the network, causing it to reconnect and generate the handshake packets. Run the following command, AirPlay NG deauth4 indicates 4 deauthentication packets. A specifies the MAC address of the target AP. C specifies the MAC address of the client device to be disconnected. WLAN 0 is the wireless interface in monitor mode. To find the client MAC address, look at the list of connected devices in the AeroDump NG output. After running the deauthentication command, the target device will disconnect and then reconnect to the network. During this reconnection, the handshake packets will be transmitted. Check your AeroDump NG terminal to see if the handshake was captured. You should see a message indicating the capture of the WPA handshake. Once the handshake is captured, you'll see a line in the AeroDump NG output indicating a successful capture, typically shown as WPA handshake BSS ID of the target access point. Congratulations! You've successfully captured the WPA handshake. Now that we've successfully captured the WPA handshake, the next step is to create a word list to crack the WPA key. A word list is a compilation of possible passwords that the AirCrack NG tool will use to try and crack the WPA encryption by comparing each word in the list against the captured handshake. The effectiveness of this step relies heavily on the quality and comprehensiveness of the word list. The word list is essentially a brute force attack method where every word in the list is tested against the captured handshake until the correct password is found. If the password is included in the word list, AirCrack NG will successfully crack the WPA key. However, if the password is not in the word list, the attack will fail. Therefore, the more comprehensive the word list, the higher the chances of success. To create our word list, we will use a tool called Crunch. Crunch allows us to generate custom word lists based on specified criteria, such as the length of the passwords and the characters they contain. For this demonstration, we will create a word list that consists of passwords made up of only 2 characters, 1 and 2. The passwords will be 8 characters in length. Now, open your terminal and run the following command. Crunch, it is the name of the tool. 8 specifies the minimum number of characters for the password to be generated. And next 8 specifies the maximum number of characters for the password to be generated. In our case, we are only interested in generating passwords of length 8. That's why the minimum and maximum lengths of passwords are the same. 1, 2. Specify the characters that we want to use in the password. wordlist.txt. Option specifies the file name where the passwords are going to be stored. After running the command, Crunch will generate the word list and display its progress in the terminal. The output will indicate the total number of generated passwords, the size of the word list file, and where the file is saved. For our example, with a password length of 8 characters, and using only 1 and 2, Crunch will generate 256 possible combinations. Our word list file, wordlist.txt, will contain all these combinations and will be approximately 2 KB in size. This small size is due to the limited character set and short password length in our example. In real-world scenarios, where passwords are more complex and longer, the word list file can grow significantly in size, potentially reaching gigabytes or even terabytes. We are now at the final step of our WPA and WPA2 cracking process. In this step, we will use aircrack-ng to crack the WPA key using the handshake we captured and the word list we created in the previous steps. This process involves testing each password in the word list against the captured handshake until the correct password is found. Let's dive into the details of this process. To crack the WPA or WPA2 encryption, aircrack-ng uses a process that involves creating a pairwise master key for each password in the word list. The PMK is generated using an algorithm called PBKDF2, which combines the password and the SSID of the target AP. This PMK is then compared to the captured handshake. If the PMK matches, the password used to create it is the correct WPA key. If it doesn't match, aircrack-ng moves on to the next password in the word list. Before we start cracking, ensure that you have the following files ready. The captured handshake file, in this example, WPA_handshake-01.cap. The word list file, in this example, wordlist.txt. Open your terminal and run the following command, aircrack-ng. Here is our captured packets file, WPA_handshake-01.cap. W the generated word list file, wordlist.txt. Press enter to run the command. Aircrack-ng will start processing the word list and testing each password against the captured handshake. The tool will display the progress in the terminal, showing the current password being tested and the overall progress through the word list. If the correct password is in the word list, aircrack-ng will display the WPA key when a match is found. We've now completed the process of cracking the WPA key using aircrack-ng and a word list. By capturing the handshake and creating a comprehensive word list, we've demonstrated how aircrack-ng systematically tests each password to determine the correct WPA key. In our previous section, we explored how hackers attempt to crack Wi-Fi passwords. Now it's crucial to focus on securing our Wi-Fi network to prevent such attacks. Let's dive into the steps you can take to safeguard your Wi-Fi. To begin securing your network, you'll need to access your router's settings page. Every router has a web-based interface where you can configure its settings. Start by finding the IP address of your computer. Open a terminal and run ifconfig lon 0 to locate your IP address. Note down the highlighted part, which is your computer's IP. Next, open a web browser and type 192.168.1.1 in the address bar. This is typically the IP address of your router. If your computer's IP ends in .2, change it to .1 because that's usually the router's IP in the subnet. This will take you to the router settings page. On the router settings page, you'll be prompted to enter a username and password. This information is usually provided by your internet service provider or written on the sticker attached to your router. Enter these credentials to access the settings. Once logged in, it's important to strengthen your router's security settings. If possible, connect to the router using an Ethernet cable to prevent potential deauthentication attacks. Modify settings such as encryption type, preferably WPA2 or WPA3, Wi-Fi password, and other security configurations as recommended by your router's manufacturer. Every router model has different settings, but the process of accessing and modifying them remains similar. Ensure your Wi-Fi network is secure by making these necessary adjustments. But first of all, we will generate a strong Wi-Fi password. Open a new tab in your browser and search for a strong Wi-Fi password generator. One recommended site is Rotten Wi-Fi, or choose any trusted generator. Select a password length of at least 8 characters and include all character types uppercase, lowercase, numbers and special characters. Click the Generate Password button and copy the generated password. Now that we've generated a strong Wi-Fi password, it's crucial to store it securely. Here's how you can do it. Firstly, open your File Explorer and create a new text file. Name it something memorable, like Wi-Fi_password. Open the file and paste the copied password into it. Be sure to save the file by pressing Ctrl+S. Next, open your web browser and navigate to Google Drive. If you haven't already, sign in to your Google account. Upload the password file Wi-Fi_password.txt, your Google Drive. This ensures your password is securely stored in the cloud, accessible only by you. By saving your Wi-Fi password on Google Drive, you no longer need to memorize it. You can access it securely from any device with an internet connection. This method provides convenience while maintaining security. Now that we've generated a strong password and securely stored it on Google Drive, let's enhance our Wi-Fi security by updating our router settings. Firstly, return to your Wi-Fi router settings page. Navigate to the Wireless tab and locate the security settings. Here, you'll see your current wireless security information, including the SSID, which is the Wi-Fi network name, and network authentication currently set to WPA-PSK. To enhance security, update the network authentication to WPA2PSK. Click on the Authentication drop-down menu and select WPA2PSK. Now in the password field below, click to display the current password. As you can see, it's recommended to use a strong password, so let's paste the new password we generated earlier into this field. Click to display the password again to confirm it's correct. Finally, click the Apply or Save button to save your changes. Your new Wi-Fi password and security settings are now updated to WPA2PSK, ensuring stronger protection for your network. Now let's dive into an interesting experiment to understand the complexity and security of our new Wi-Fi password. We want to see how long it would take to generate a word list of 8-character passwords including only lowercase English alphabets, and how much memory it would cover. Firstly, open your terminal and use the Crunch tool to generate a word list containing all possible combinations of 8-character passwords using only lowercase English alphabets. By running this command, Crunch will create a word list that includes all possible 8-character combinations of lowercase letters. After running the command, you can see that the size of the file is approximately 1 terabyte. This huge file size demonstrates the immense number of possible combinations, even with just lowercase letters. Now imagine generating a word list that includes all uppercase and lowercase alphabets, numbers, and special characters. The complexity and size of the word list would increase exponentially. The storage required for such a word list would be impractically large, possibly running into petabytes or even exabytes. The time taken to generate and use this word list would be incredibly long, making it impractical for attackers to use brute force methods. This experiment highlights the strength and security of your new Wi-Fi password. Even if an attacker managed to create a word list with random passwords, the sheer size and complexity would make it extremely difficult and time-consuming to decrypt using tools like AirCrack-NG. By understanding these factors, you can see why having a strong, complex password significantly enhances your Wi-Fi security. Your network is now robust and well protected against potential attacks. We're going to explore the tools and techniques used for post-connection attacks. First, we'll use a tool called NetDiscover to gather important information about the network, which will help us launch further attacks. NetDiscover allows us to explore all the clients connected to the system, providing vital details like IP addresses, MAC addresses, and operating systems, as well as the open ports on their devices. Afterwards, in another video, we will cover ZenMap, a more powerful tool with a better interface that gathers detailed information about all the clients connected to the same network. The techniques and tools demonstrated in this video are intended for educational purposes only. Unauthorized access to networks and devices is illegal and unethical. Always ensure you have explicit permission from the network owner before conducting any network testing or penetration attempts. Misuse of this information can lead to severe legal consequences, including fines and imprisonment. Step 1. Switch to managed mode. Since we are already connected to the network, let's make sure our wireless card is in managed mode. Run the command iwconfig wlan 0. As you can see, our wireless interface is in managed mode. Step 2. Gather information with NetDiscover. Now let's use NetDiscover to gather information about the network. NetDiscover is a straightforward tool that quickly provides us with the IP addresses, MAC addresses, and sometimes the hardware manufacturers of connected devices. Open your terminal. Gain root privileges by running sudo su. Now run ifconfig to find your IP address. Look for the inet section under WLAN 0. You should see something like this. Note your IP address. Step 3. Run NetDiscover. To gather information about the network, run the command netdiscover, which represents the network interface with the R option to specify the range. The range is derived from your IP address. After running the command, you'll see a list of connected devices with their IP addresses, MAC addresses, and sometimes the hardware manufacturers. Notice that sometimes the vendor information might not be displayed, but we still get the IP and MAC addresses, which are essential for further analysis and potential attacks. What is Zenmap? Zenmap is the official graphical user interface for the Nmap security scanner. Nmap is an open-source tool used for network discovery and security auditing. Zenmap makes it easier for beginners and advanced users alike to utilize Nmap's powerful features without needing to use the command line extensively. With Zenmap, you can visualize network topology, manage saved scan results, and perform detailed network scans with just a few clicks. This makes it an invaluable tool for network administrators, security professionals, and anyone interested in network security. Why use Zenmap? So why should you use Zenmap? Here are a few reasons. User-friendly interface. Zenmap provides an intuitive GUI that simplifies the use of Nmap's powerful features. Visualization. It offers detailed visualizations of your network, making it easier to understand network structures and identify potential issues. Saved scans. You can save and compare scan results, which is great for tracking changes over time. Custom profiles. Zenmap allows you to create and save custom scan profiles for quick access. How to install Zenmap in Kali Linux. Now, let's move on to the installation process. Installing Zenmap in Kali Linux is straightforward. Just follow these steps. Step 1. Update your system. First, open your terminal and update your package list to ensure you have the latest information about available packages. Run the command sudo apt update. Enter your password if prompted, and let the system update. Step 2. Install Zenmap. Next, install Zenmap using the following command. Sudo apt install Zenmap. This command will download and install Zenmap along with its dependencies. Step 3. Launch Zenmap. Once the installation is complete, you can launch Zenmap by typing Zenmap in the terminal or finding it in your applications menu. And there you have it. Zenmap is now installed and ready to use. You can start exploring your network and taking advantage of all the powerful features Zenmap has to offer. How to use Zenmap? Before we can use Zenmap effectively, we need to know the IP address of our network. This is crucial because it tells Zenmap where to start scanning. To get your IP address, open the terminal and run the command ifconfig. This command displays all the network interfaces on your device and their respective IP addresses. Look for the section labeled WLAN 0 if you're connected to Wi-Fi, or ETH0 if you're using an Ethernet cable. In this example, we're using Wi-Fi, so we look under WLAN 0. You'll see a line that starts with inet. The number following inet is your device's IP address. In our case, it's 192.168.1.2. Copy this address, as we'll need it for the next steps. Now, let's open Zenmap. Once Zenmap is open, you'll see two main fields at the top, Target and Profile. The Target field is where you specify the IP address or range of IP addresses you want to scan. The Profile field lets you choose the type of scan you want to perform. But before we get into that, let's talk about modifying our IP address. In the Target section, paste the IP address we copied earlier. However, we need to modify it slightly. Our current IP address is 192.168.1.2. To scan the entire network, we need to change the last digit. Remove the 2 and replace it with 0. This gives us the network address, which is now 192.168.1.0/24. The 24 is a subnet mask, indicating that we are scanning a network range rather than a single device. It specifies that the first 24 bits of the IP address are fixed, and the remaining bits can vary. This means we are scanning all IP addresses from 0 to 255. Now that we have our target set to 192.168.1.0/24, let's move on to the profile section. ZenMap offers a variety of scan profiles, each designed for different purposes. Click the drop-down menu to see the available options. In this video, we'll focus on 3 scan types: ping scan, quick scan, and quick plus scan. These scans will give us progressively more detailed information about our network. First, select ping scan from the drop-down menu and click the scan button. A ping scan is the most basic type of scan. It quickly checks which devices are up and running on the network. As you can see, the ping scan returns a list of connected devices. This scan is very quick and provides limited information. In the left-hand panel, we can see the connected devices along with their IP addresses, MAC addresses, and vendors. This basic information is useful for quickly identifying which devices are active on your network, but it doesn't provide much detail about each device. Next, let's perform a quick scan. Select Quick Scan from the drop-down menu and click Scan. The quick scan takes a bit longer than the ping scan, but provides more detailed information about each device. The quick scan not only identifies the devices on the network but also shows open ports and running services. This is valuable information for network administrators and security professionals, as it helps identify potential vulnerabilities. As you can see, we now have a list of devices along with details about their open ports and services. This information can help you understand what each device is doing and identify any unexpected or suspicious activity. Finally, let's perform a quick plus scan. Select Quick Plus Scan from the drop-down menu and click Scan. This scan takes the longest but provides the most detailed information. The Quick Plus Scan includes all the information from the quick scan and adds additional details such as OS detection and version detection for services. This comprehensive scan is perfect for a thorough analysis of your network. As you can see, we now have a wealth of information about each device on the network. This includes IP addresses, MAC addresses, open ports, running services, operating systems, and service versions. With this data, you can perform a detailed analysis of your network security posture. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Let me know in the comments below what other Kali Linux tools you'd like me to cover in future videos. Don't forget to subscribe to TechSky for more tutorials and tech tips. Until next time, happy scanning.